Australian made and owned, Hi-Tech Oils is one of the largest oil blenders in Australia with a truly national profile, supplying an extensive range of oils, coolant, grease, batteries and much more for all businesses and consumer needs. Choose Hi-Tech Oils for peace of mind.
Well, home for me is only 400 kilometres down the road to Townsville. Well, sun shines. This is winter. It does get cool at night, but, you know, it's a top place, isn't it? Well, it's very picturesque. It's got the mountains and everything, and I mean, I was up here for the opening meeting, and I mean, it'd been raining, so everything's nice and green and everything. I mean, it's a little bit dried out now, but I mean, look around you, I mean. Where else are you going to get this on a winter's day?
It's an awesome facility. You just got to take a look around. The mountains in the background. The place has got a vibe like we've never felt before. This place will be packed tonight.
Honestly, it's just an awesome facility in the backyard. Hopefully it's going to be one of the biggest things they've ever seen in their life. I mean, drag racing used to be full of family people on the hill, you know what I mean? Mums, dads, kids and everything. I believe the wheel standers are getting the kids in because they think they're awesome. The Nitro Funny Cars are impressing mum and dad. They're like, oh wow, look at these things, you know.
Beautiful place. Like, the place is awesome. The guys are great. They've done a massive job on the track already. Like, you know, this is only their third meeting on this track, and here we are bringing these cars out here.
FNQ, people think it stands for Far North Queensland. It stands for Funny Car Nitro Quick.
Gotta love it. FNQ may well mean Funny Car Nitro Quick, but I also think it stands for Funny Car Nitro Queensland. Hi everyone, welcome to Springmount Raceway, 100 k's west of Cairns here in this Food Bowl region of Australia, and there is a big crowd rolling in for a big night of Aeroflow outlaw Nitro Funny Cars. Let's bring it on.
Well, there is a huge air of anticipation heading into this one. Springmount Raceway is ready for the Aeroflow Outlaw Nitro Funny Car Show. Wade Oranger joining me for this one, and this crowd, Wade, is definitely excited.
What is not to love about all this, Chad? Huge crowd here, loads of kids, and we are about to shake the sky here at Cairns.
We have 10 Nitro Funny Cars in the house. They're all lined up. This is the traditional salute to the crowd. We're about to fill this brand new venue with Nitro. Oh, it's going to be good. By firing up 10 Nitro Funny Cars. You get the feeling it's going to be an incredible first event here at Springmount. This crowd is absolutely ready.
What an amazing backdrop we've got here. Look at that, mate. You've got mountain ranges in the background. You've got plenty of nitro in the foreground, starting with the wheel standers. Great conditions, a little bit windy. Spare a thought for these guys, Chad, on the back wheels and the wind at over 160 k's an hour.
Looking through the floor of these cars, steering them with the rear brakes. And this is going to be a big win for the Nitro Sheriff to kick the night off. Going through the finish line at way over 100 k's per hour on the back wheels, Wade. Unreal.
Hi, I'm Maurice McMillan, driver of the One Bad Kiwi Nitro Funny Car. We're going to go through today a few of the routines that we do when racing these cars. A lot of people wonder what the crew chief is doing to the motor before the car goes into stage. Basically, that crew chief is setting the idle, which is important to how we leave because these cars leave off an idle. Why do we leave off an idle in a nitro car? There's a few reasons. A, consistency, what the crew chief sets the car to on the start line, the idle is always going to be the same. For the other reason, we don't need to rev them up because of the power nitro makes. You can see the flames, you can understand that these things make over 4,000 horsepower, so we don't need to rev them any harder to make the power. We then roll into pre-stage. We have the handbrake on hard. We pull the fuel right onto full, so we're running all the fuel into the motor. At this point, we'll take our foot right off the clutch, and you'll hear the motor drop down to a really deep crackling tone. At that point, we are holding the entire weight of the car and the entire power of the motor just on the handbrake. As I'm sure you can see, there's absolutely no room to put a foot brake, so we have a handbrake. That works mechanically basically the same as a normal braking foot brake. It's just operated by the hand. These things have carbon brakes on them, so all the discs are carbon. That's the reason why we can hold the 4,000 horsepower these cars have on the start line with the clutch off. So you're basically putting everything you got into the weight of the handbrake. You modulate it in so the car will roll forward slightly once both those pre-stage beams are on. Brake on really hard. As soon as you see a flash of amber, you drop that brake, smash that pedal, and off you go.
Day has turned into night up in North Queensland. We're racing 100 k's west of Cairns. And out here, there's no one to hear these amazing engines, so we can crank them up as loud as we can for the thousands of people that have shown up to see them race tonight.
And now it's a completely new dimension because now you got flames in the night sky. This is as good as it gets. You know that Rick is fired up. Nitro Express, a red light in his first round. He's got seriously got to make up for that. When you think about it, LA Hooker, or Hugh Grant as I like to call him, had exactly the same problem. Red light in the first round as well.
So they're both on 1 point, and the wind is picking up above this magnificent venue.
Yeah, in fact, look at the steam in the background of the refinery, but in the distance. That gives you an idea, too, of just how fiercely it's blowing across the grounds here. Begley needs to step it up, so too does this man. We're on board with Nitro Express, and the fans are going to get a dose now of what this is all about. Nighttime nitro racing.
Rick tried to drive that first round of racing with one hand on the brake, knowing that it was going to break into wheel spin at some point, courtesy of the fact that it's a new venue and definitely a bit dusty. But he felt a bit of a shudder when he was doing that, so maybe a potential brake issue with this car. Not what you need when the brake is so just vital part of getting down the racetrack when it's like this. Very marginal. Two drivers who need a win.
Not much in that. It's a good drag race, but good result too. LA Hooker, strong, a 591 at 371 k's an hour. That's an upset right there.
Race of the day, all night so far, and LA Hooker gives Rick Gorsey one of the worst starts to an event that he's ever had. He's on 2 points after 2 races. I can't remember the last time that happened, and that was a win that LA Hooker needed. So they race in the shadows under lights.
Still wriggling around a fair bit as well when you think they're doing over 350 k's an hour. We take a look at the journey from Nitro Express's point of view. A bit of tyre shake there as well, and Begley takes care of him in round 2. Now, we talked about the dust before as well, Chad. I guess what that's doing is actually making the surface quite unpredictable, quite skatey, I would think.
Well, you're not wrong, and if it gets any worse, Wade, I wouldn't be surprised if our officials do call a stop to things tonight. So hopefully we can keep racing, but driver safety always paramount. Darren Fry appears once again, and Greg Lay, off the back of his first round loss. I think they fixed that timing issue by the sound of it too. Much sweeter in the burnout.
Now this is the battle of the great movies. No doubt about it, Stormtrooper up against the Bandit. Has anyone sent Burt Reynolds a photo of this thing? Darren Fry off to a great start already, and Lay, not so much. Greg needs a win badly, and Fry, as you know, had a big win in round 1 in the Bandit, so he wants to back that up, literally.
Greg Lay took this car from Graham Cowan with its original setup in it, which was very aggressive, and he's been suffering from tyre shake ever since, really, as they just adjust the throttle bodies on the right-hand side of the Bandit.
These weather conditions would be pretty different for these guys too in terms of engine management, I would think as well, Chad.
Well, we're up so high in terms of altitude, 3,500 feet tonight, which is putting it up there with like Denver, Colorado, to use an NHRA term, so very difficult to try and get that fuel-to-air mixture right in these engines. So many variables tonight. Oh, straight into tyre smoke for the Bandit. Whoa, huge moment for the Stormtrooper. Oh no, he got the centre line too. So he'll be disqualified.
But what a drive job.
Man.
Now, is that an indication of what the dust is doing?
Could very well be. I know they were trying to slip the clutch in this run, Greg Lay. Aaron Hambridge helping with that tune-up. Just wasn't enough. Again, Wade, it's where the concrete turns into tarmac right there. Hazes those tyres.
Man, that could have been ugly. That is a great job to save that. It was all going swimmingly. He had this thing nailed.
The team are up, they thought they had it, but hitting those cones is instant disqualification and they know it.
And it's windy, it's dusty. No one's got any much data apart from what they did in the first round. There's a lot of crews thrashing here, and spare a thought for the guys on board, including this man, the local hope, the local hero on Insanity. That's very well what it might be, getting down the quarter mile here.
This is a real driver's track tonight. You hear it often in circuit racing, they say rain is the great leveler. Well, tonight we're seeing something very similar with this racetrack. It's difficult to get down, which means if you want to get to that finish line first, you're just simply going to have to be a better driver. It's more about the drivers than the crew chiefs tonight, which isn't often the case in drag racing, which is kind of cool to see. Which gives Harold Campbell a huge chance at winning this race up against one bad Kiwi.
Again, you see in the background that banner getting traumatised by the wind. You cannot underestimate how much force these cars are under.
Maurice McMillan will know that these conditions are getting marginal, more and more so by the second, so he needs to A, get the win here, get the 3 points, but make it a quick pass, because if we only get 2 races in tonight, that last pass, meaning this one, could mean the difference between winning or losing.
Really cool to see the tacho just down on the side like that. It's not something that you normally see in any form of motorsport.
Well, they've been moved because of these new injector hats. There's room on the side of the engine. Recently, they would have rubbed up against the body. They used to sit at the front, but they've moved them around to the side, much easier for these crew chiefs to access. Straight into stage for Harold Campbell.
Wolf Creek ain't messing around, buddy. He's going to take on this Kiwi. Oh, this looks ugly for McMillan. He got it down there in the end. Shoots.
Man, that was a good pass, 365 Ks. He's going deep as well. He's on the brake. You can hear it. Oh!
Beautiful save. You hear that in the background? One of the locals is pretty impressed with Morris.
You know another thing about the altitude up here as we check out some replays, thanks to Aeroflow. Oh, man, that thing was smoking the tyres at half track, still went 360 odd Ks an hour. Let's just see how many times we slapped the throttle. 4, 5, 6, 7. Harold Campbell, you demon. But what I was saying...
Importantly, he never gave up.
And how about the deep end save from Maurice McMillan using the rear brakes to pull that car up? But the parachute's not as effective up here with all this altitude. Those nitro fumes still filling the night sky, although getting pushed down the racetrack with gusts up to 100 kilometres per hour. You can see it in the flags in the background. Certainly not helping these guys stop at the other end.
It's a fairly difficult night at the office for these boys. When you think about the wind, the dust, unfamiliar conditions in terms of any data that they might have had from previous rounds. So these boys are digging deep. Paul Massinio in Dark Horse. And Shane Olive, always one to watch. Look at that. Even the sunroof is struggling against the breeze as they back him up.
And that would be a little bit off-putting as a driver. It definitely let a lot of light into the car, and usually it's your crew who would only ever operate that, so it might just be one extra factor to worry about. How about the Dark Horse at Willowbank? Second round of racing, you will never get closer to a disqualification than this. That's treading the line.
And got away with it too.
Now, with the hindsight of video, we can tell that maybe these pipes did get the, well, not maybe, definitely, but the way that Willowbank's shaped, very difficult to see the finish line from the start, so got away with that one.
And there's no video replay available to the officials. They are literally going by what the naked eye picks up at the time. You know, we talked a lot about how difficult conditions are, but I can tell you there is a bright, bright future for this championship concept at this venue. It's exciting. The fans have voted with their feet. I know that Graham Cowan and all the organisers are amped about coming up here. So I know that next year, this will be bigger and badder than it was even this year.
Yeah, we're booked for August next year, by the way, so if you fancy a trip up to Cairns, next year could be the time to do it. Oh, going into stage and Shane's roof hatch has come open. I've never seen a car launch with that open before. It slammed shut at the head of the throttle. And it's a big run anyway. 585, that's the quickest run we've seen all day. The Red Devil takes 6 points with a good run too.
Well, if it was distracting, it wasn't reflected in the run, was it? Right down the guts. That is a very, very good run for Olive. He is back in town, the Devil, despite the flap popping up before he left. That's incredible.
Paul Massinio blowing one of those blocks away on the finish line. Again, the wind really howling down that part of the track. The crowd cheering on Morris McMillan as he returns. The gauntlet's been thrown down for the Bumblebee now. He's on 3 points. Needs to win and try and go quicker than that 585.
I like what I see with this guy. Really, really improving with every run. And here's another really good chance to bang some points in. Up against Let's Boogie, and let's face it, Let's Boogie went to the beach earlier today, so anything from this point will be an improvement.
That spectator mound is so close to the action here. I feel like you get your eyebrows singed with these nitro flames as they whiz on by. He's a cool kid in the Transformers-inspired car, and it's Justin Walsh in the other lane. We're looking behind him right now.
It is one wild night in Cairns, isn't it? It has had a bit of everything. We've had 2 5-second passes. That's a cool shot. The back of the wheelie bar. Man, what else could happen tonight? We're into the second round of the Aeroflow Outlaw Nitro Funny Cars. Far North Queensland has never been lit like this before.
Team actually adjusting the height of that wheelie bar there. It changes after the burnout because all the extra heat that's building up in those big rear tyres. See the top of the blower pulley there, team's changing those tonight, trying to find that right mixture of air to fuel because of the altitude here. Very different to what we're used to. Oh, we're up in smoke. We've got a good old-fashioned drag race, and it's the Bumblebee who wins the pedal job. And another block goes flying at the end with those chutes coming out.
It was a pedal too. If you listen very carefully on that throttle, he stepped it 2 or 3 times. Was nothing in it at the start. Both reaction times pretty similar. Bumblebee in the end does the job.
Right on that transition again out of the concrete. They both go up in smoke. It would have been using the handbrakes to try and limit that wheel speed. Hear the RPM go up.
Just think about what you just said then, having to use the handbrake as well as work the throttle, as well as steer the sucker at over 300 k's an hour in just under 6 seconds. That's crazy.
He never got back on the loud pedal in Let's Boogie. And sadly, the officials have called a stop to proceedings, so it's simply too dangerous. And that means that we have 3 drivers on 6 points, and it goes back to who set the fastest or quickest time then, and that would be Shane Olive. So that's a hat-trick of wins for Shane. Congratulations to him. Next will be Morris McMillan, and in third, Jake Donnelly.
Bumblebee was looking to sting, but unfortunately the conditions have had the last say.
Yeah, I was ready to smoke the Bandit in that last one and hopefully get 3 wins, but the weather is slippery and it's cold outside, so it's probably the right thing to do.
Great effort today. Have you had fun?
Oh, awesome. I love the track. It's killer. 1-2 from 2, so I honestly over the moon, stoked.
Bad luck, but well done all the same.
Yeah, look, it's one of those things. We've got to take the driver safety first, so we don't want to see anyone get hurt. It's the best option. Hey, we all want to go racing, but these things happen.
I think the big crowd still got their fill of Nitro. They had a blast today.
Oh, the crowd was huge. They were passionate. They loved it. So it was really cool to see so many people here. And yeah, we'll be back to put the show on again.
Bloomin' Red Devil, you had a chance to have a crack at him in that 3rd round, but he's taken the win on the virtue of the better performance in the earlier rounds. But still, you got to be happy with 2nd.
Oh, absolutely safe. You know, you want to be on the podium. That's why you come racing. You want to win. We were looking forward to racing Shane in the final as such, but these things happen. We'll be certainly looking after that bullet trophy tonight.
The winner, he's had a devil of a run once again and cut short after 2 rounds, but well done. Shane Olive, you're the winner of this round of Springmount.
Yeah, it's not how you want to take it, but the weather's played a big part. It's really windy out here today, so but we'll take it. My crew, all these guys have done an awesome job all weekend. You know, the car's been on rails. It's been a handful to drive, but it went down there, so no, we're pleased.
There's top 3, ladies and gentlemen.
Shane Olive on the podium once again, and the first rocket trophies to Morris McMillan and Jake Donnelly. Congratulations to those 3.
There's more to come after the break as we head over to the Donington Park circuit in the UK for rounds 4 to 6 of the 2019 British Touring Car Championship.